Okay, this week in Hard Knocks, some really more individual player kind of breakdown, spend a little more time, less on Dan Campbell. So the two guys, Amon Ra St. Brown and then Rodrigo, who's had a lot of
Rodrigo.
time. These guys, Craig, have a screw loose and in a good way. And I think that's what we're going to try to build this team around is like these guys that are just
Hmm.
nuts, man. And Amon Ra's a little more even like crazy. I think that guy's like silently crazy. So when you saw those two highlighted, what were some thoughts that you had just kind of seeing their story a little bit and how well they're actually doing on the field, especially Rodrigo?
Yeah. So you said especially Rodrigo. So you want to start with him,
Let's do it.
and I'll just kind of talk about what stood out to me. So in the very first Hard Knocks, when they're saying training camp is fill in the blank, what did he say? Did he say awesome,
Yeah,
fun?
fun or
And
awesome.
then and
Awesome.
then like and that's all it was. And then all of a sudden in episode 2, you hear him say it's fun or it's awesome because you get to hit people. Like
Mhm.
and like you could just and he almost sounded like a little kid. Like he really did. He's like, because you get to hit people. And he
Yeah.
was just so excited about it. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Like there are people that want contact, they want to constantly be hitting, and then there's other people who are just good at it, so even though they don't love doing it, they're good at it. And he's one of those guys who I feel like is good at it and loves it. And being able to see behind the curtain kind of helps me understand why there was hype about him. It helps me understand why he's actually good. He's a sixth round pick. Just 2 years ago, our sixth round pick didn't even make it out of training camp. Like
Mhm.
I think people don't understand how crazy this is when you have Kelvin Shepard, the linebackers coach, like ripping every other linebacker while saying this dude's going to be our starter. Like I'm sure you will want to talk on that a little bit, but like I think it's real. And I like the dude clearly eats, breathes, sleeps football, hitting more particularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we'll stay on him for a second. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is what Brad Holmes and talks about is bringing in these guys. Dan Campbell wants these guys that they love football
Mm-hmm.
and they also have a little bit of screw loose, which is not easy to find because like man, just fill up your whole team with these guys that are just a little nuts. It's like, well, then you get into the Antonio Browns of the world and like that's not that easy. You got to have this controlled. These guys are two perfect examples of they're a little bit different, they're built different, but they can keep it under
Controlled
control and they know how to
aggression.
be part of the game. So to hear him talk about Rodrigo in the meeting room was I couldn't figure it out, and I still don't quite have it figured out. So I'll ask you: were you like, "This is awesome, man. This guy's legit," or are you like, "Oh, man, the rest of our linebackers stink because he got elevated so quick"? Where do you fall on it?
Can I take a third answer for 300? This is uncomfortable. And
Mm,
I loved it, but I was uncomfortable in it. And yes, I'm thrilled about how well he's playing, but you have an undersized middle linebacker, sixth round pick that very quickly, week and a half,
mhm.
became all the way to a starter on the depth chart. That's embarrassing for the other players. Like that's all I have to say. And I know Anzalone didn't play, like, and I understand that. But when you're sitting here and you're watching a guy like him make the right reads, make the right plays, be a sure tackler, and then you see a guy like Barnes make the right read, miss a tackle in the hole. You
Mhm.
see a guy like Jared Davis overrun a play. You see him take a bad angle on the next play, and you're like, okay, Jared Davis, this is like your sixth year, fifth year in the league.
Mhm.
Like, what's going on, man? And you start seeing these other guys, and Board I thought played decent too, but like you're just like, oh no, like I don't know whether to feel like, yep, he's Zach Thomas, right, or to feel we just are really bad at
Yeah.
linebacker. I don't know. What do you
That's
feel?
that's how I think it's we're bad on our linebackers are bad.
You
I think
do?
I think what's that?
You do
Yes,
really?
because
Crap.
here's what it should be. It should be, man, we're really excited about our 6th round pick. Bring it like you should be excited about him, but in to see it behind the curtain where he is just ripping the rest of the guys, like, look at what he's doing this, this, and this. You guys cannot do it. You have not done it. And it's like,
5 years since a linebacker made this read.
yep,
5 years since they did this in
5
this on
years.
this organization. That one didn't just hurt me now, that hurt me for a long time.
Yep. And it's like, yep, makes sense. And since Stephen Tulloch, we haven't had a
Mhm.
linebacker that where you're like, great play. Like Stephen Tulloch was just
Hard to even
there.
name one, as
No,
weird as it sounds.
I can't even think of. I mean, and so yes, so I think our linebackers are bad, and I
Yep.
think, but I think thankfully we have him. Man, geez, we got somebody at least in the works, but we're another cycle away, another free agent, and another draft pick away with the linebackers. Can't fix it all. So
Yeah.
let's go to St. Brown. Um,
The
Here's
sun
a
god.
guy. Love to know your thoughts on this, Craig. I mean, he looks angry. He's angry. He's focused. His dad is another level, and it's just like, I get it. Like, you hear his dad talk, and he's dead serious talking about whatever in the weight
Oh,
room.
how great was
Oh,
that? Kevin
yeah,
Durant tears his Achilles. You know what? I have a question for you. When was the last time Kevin Durant did a calf raise?
yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay, all
Okay,
right.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's what. So your thoughts on that when you're
Does
seeing
not
him
care.
kind of a little bit more behind the scenes, like, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. So was there much better television? Like I remember a while ago, was it Cromartie? Who was it? There was a defensive back that couldn't even name all of his children.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are sitting here and you have Amon Ra St Brown, and he can name all 16 wide receivers that were drafted before him and the teams they played
Mm-hmm.
on camera. Like it's one thing to say you know them all and to be like, yeah, I got them. It's another one to just rip through them.
Yep.
And here's what I learned about Amon Ra St Brown: the chip on his shoulder from those 16 players drafted before him is because he just always has a chip on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going anywhere. The way he was, like, he's got a dad that's sitting here making fun of them for drinking water because spit isn't enough.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
what
Thanks,
happened to
Dad.
drinking spit?
You need
And it's
water.
just like, thank you so much, but like at the same time, you understand how they're built different and how they can do things. The story of, he had a guy that he knew that was like, caught 200 balls. So he's like, well, we're going to catch 200 too off the jugs machine. Like that's just sometimes there's a guy who's just different.
Yep.
And so for me, I think that's what he will always be. And when his dad says that they train the body right and he's not going to get hurt, has he proven to be correct so far?
And he
Yeah.
has, and you believe him, and you're so right on this. He is a guy that no matter what, he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. He could have been the
Yeah.
second wide receiver taken, and he's gonna be pissed that the first one
He's
went.
not
And
number one. Yeah.
yeah, and he's gonna get 70 catches this year, and someone's gonna get 71, and he is gonna be so mad all off season, and he's not gonna sleep. That's just
Yeah.
that's the type of guy that we're looking for, and it's everybody is, but Brad Holmes, I mean, that's like, and we got to see more of it. And we got to see who we picked up this year. We got to see more of it. But all we can go on is what we've seen so far from what Brad Holmes has picked up. And this St. Brown is his perfect example. Now, Derek Barnes, not a good example of what Brad Holmes has picked up in terms of like,
I mean, yeah,
because I was,
I think it's too early with Barnes. I'm going to go with Onwuzurike is a good example
oh
of
yeah,
not.
that's what I didn't
It's
want
the
to go.
second round curse of the
Yep.
Detroit Lions.
Oh my gosh, just
Why
hit
are we
one of
talking
those.
about this? I thought we were talking about the good stuff. I thought we
Yeah,
were
I
talking about
know.
Rodrigo. We were talking about St. Brown.
Rodrigo built
Now these
different,
are the
but
guys you build the franchise around, and now we're sitting here and you're getting me depressed.
I know. And I'm thinking to myself, let's not get too carried away because there's we're some mistakes, but those are the guys. These are the guys that we're like building around that we want our whole team.
That's right.
Can you imagine if 80% of our team is like these guys? Right now it's 12% of our team is like, whoa, these guys are a little weird. We get majority of our team like this. It could be really exciting. So anything else you had on this one?
Yeah. Maybe another video. Should we talk about TJ Hawkinson shorts?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that just seemed about an inch too short. Like one more
Too
inch would have
tight,
been
too short,
too tight. Too tight.
Yeah. Like it was just, I don't know what he was wearing, but Dan Campbell saying his wife has the same shorts at home is just fantastic. It's
Oh,
exactly what you want it to be.
let me ask you this, Craig, and this is another video maybe, but I want to just get your
Okay.
quick thoughts on it. Do you love where are you at with Deuce Staley as you just listen to him
Okay.
more and
This
more?
is another video.
Okay.
this is another video. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Because I have so many feelings.
I do too.
I really do.
I don't. So,
And you know what? We'll throw in that video. Where you at with Jamal Williams?
oh, we're gonna do we're Kool-Aid checking ourselves hard here.
Yeah, we got a Kool-Aid, which is so weird because this should be like prime pump time. This is the time when the rest of the country's like, oh, the Lions have got something cooking. And we're sitting here and we're like, didn't go well against the Colts. Hey, no, this was St. Brown and Rodrigo. Let's be happy.
Let's be happy with these guys. But we're keeping it real. And we will make sure you subscribe, and we will see all of you on the next one.
See ya.